My bitch drive a all white rank. Couldn't hit it if you niggas had aim. Lanes can't call and you lame. You had it and you lost it, all the shame. I can buy a Billy, don't talk to me. For a show 150, don't talk to me.
The Markelle Fultz story is legitimately one of the most confusing stories that I think any sports fan has had to encounter. I mean, to this day, we still don't know what the real problem with Markelle Fultz is. All we know is that his shot is messed up and something is wrong with his shoulder. That's all we know for sure in this Markelle Fultz saga. YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy Young Mustard, and today we're here to talk about if Markelle Fultz is damaged goods and if his time in the NBA is essentially over. So if you guys are not subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also comment down below your opinions. I'd like to know what y'all think about this Markelle Fultz saga, and also don't forget to hit the bell next to my name. That means you're notified after each and every single video that I post, so you guys make sure y'all do that. Now back to this video. Markelle Fultz was the first overall pick in the 2016 NBA draft. As in college in Washington, he averaged 23 points, 6 rebounds, just under 6 assists, while having great shooting splits of 48% from the field and 41% from 3. Now, he did shoot 65% from the free throw line, which is not great, but you have to overlook that when you're looking at the other percentages, which were really efficient. I mean, 47% from the field and 41% from 3 is nothing you ever laugh at. And when you add in 6 rebounds and 6 assists on 23 points, that's definitely something that you gotta overlook. And some players outgrow the free throw ability, especially in the college level. So Markelle Fultz coming into the league, it was very apparent that he could score the ball and create his own shot, as a lot of people compared him to some players such as James Harden, some even saying Russell Westbrook, and then I heard some people saying his worst case scenario would be a D'Angelo Russell. And when you look at what D'Angelo Russell is now, even though that isn't what he was at the time, that's definitely not something bad to beat. So I definitely think that Markelle Fultz coming into the league was definitely a high prospect for a good reason, and he was the first pick in the overall draft, and he was traded up because don't forget, the Sixers traded the 3rd pick to get the 1st pick, and they also gave up another pick to the Celtics as well in order to get Markelle Fultz, because they felt like they really needed a scoring guard on that perimeter, because having Ben Simmons, who's not going to take any type of shots outside the paint, and also having Joel Embiid, who's going to dominate the paint and can stretch his range to the 3-point line and in the mid-range game, and also already having Dario Saric, you need another perimeter threat, especially if you have Ben Simmons out there. So I definitely think that Markelle Fultz was the right player for them to pick up. But little did we know how that would backfire on them, because going into the preseason, Markelle Fultz played relatively decent in my opinion in the first game. He dropped 17 points, though he did take a lot of shots. You gotta look at the good versus more of the bad, because Markelle Fultz, he looked good in some of the shots he was taking. His ball handling abilities, in my opinion, looked really solid, and even Kevin Durant gave him a stamp of approval on Twitter and said he's going to be a really good scorer. So I definitely think Markelle Fultz's career was headed in the right direction, but soon he would suffer an ankle injury, which would sideline him for the rest of the summer league, and then he would enter the preseason, and I don't believe he played that much in the preseason, even if he played at all. Y'all correct me in the comment section. I don't really believe he played that much, and even if he did, who really cares? It wasn't anything special. But Markelle Fultz would come into the NBA, and he would only play 4 games, and in the 4 games he didn't really put up any entertaining numbers, to say the least, as he averaged 6 points, also less than 2 assists and 2 rebounds, but shot 33% from the field. But I will say in the first game he did have 10 points and shot 56% from the field, and I also grabbed 3 rebounds and also had a block. So I definitely think he definitely had some type of potential there, and if you just watched him play, his ball handling ability in my opinion was really solid, and he definitely has the size and the length. I mean, he has length. Just look up his wingspan. He definitely has the length and the ability and the size to defend. So I definitely thought he had potential. But the thing that everybody noticed, including myself, is that he didn't take any type of jumpers. All he did was go in the paint. Whether he was in the paint or not, he would never take a single jump shot. And for the player that took a lot of jump shots in college and was drafted for his shot creating ability, especially when you consider that he was playing in the same backcourt as Ben Simmons, you have to, pause and think, what the hell is he doing? Why is he not taking jump shots? But then there was a report that came out that he had a shoulder injury, and we all know the fluid and all that, he had it drained. Now, shoulder fluid draining is not something that's new and anything like that. That That happens to a lot of players and a lot of athletes. But for him to play through that, and for the Sixers training staff to allow him to play through that, you wonder why people question their medical facilities. I mean, Joel Embiid got injured multiple times, suffered injuries. You also have Ben Simmons, who got injured when he got there, and now Markelle Fultz. And then a year later, Zaire Smith. It's crazy all the injuries that this team has had to go through with its young players, but you know, that's neither here nor there. But fast forward to the end of the season, as Markelle Fultz would come back, and he looked relatively decent, even though he still didn't attempt any three-pointers at all. He became the youngest player in NBA history to have a triple-double, which everybody is getting triple-doubles, so it's whatever. But it was a nice moment for him, and in the games that he came back in the last 10 games of the season, he averaged 8 points, 5 assists, 3 rebounds, a steal, and shot 43% from the field. But he did shoot 44% from the free throw line. That free throw ability, man, I was completely wrong about that, because I did think going into the NBA, his free throw ability is something that you can overlook, especially when you consider his scoring ability. But now that he's not shooting the ball and he's not a consistent ball handler for that team, you definitely got to give him the side eye and say, damn, bruh, your free throw ability is killing everybody. But speaking of his free throw ability, it was so horrible to watch him attempt free throws, because in the next season, when he attempted free throws, you could clearly see whether it was him overthinking or his shoulder was in pain. Something was wrong with Markelle Fultz. But we all know he definitely got a new trainer going into the season. He had Drew Hanlon, who's a very famous trainer. If you don't know him, you look him up. I think he's trained with like Andrew Wiggins, Jason Tatum, Gordon Hayward, and some other popular players. So I definitely think that he is a good trainer. I mean, when you don't have all those names under your belt and be bad at your job. So I definitely think you should go check him out if you don't know of him. But Markelle Fultz this year, so far something is wrong with him, and we honestly don't know. There was a report that came out that he had a motorcycle incident that he kept on the low, and I wouldn't be shocked knowing the Philadelphia 76ers. But then his brother came and shot that report down, so we don't know if that was true or not, or his brother was just covering up for him. But fast forward to the past few weeks, Markelle Fultz was traded to the Orlando Magic for some picks and Jonathan Simmons. And I definitely think that the Philadelphia 76ers, they really had no choice but to trade Markelle Fultz. And to all the Sixers fans that wanted them to keep him, you have to understand the Sixers are not on the same timetable that Markelle Fultz is in. And I definitely think that sucks for a lot of these young players. I mean, you're seeing players such as Lonzo Ball, Kyle Kuzma, and even Markelle Fultz, who are being put in situations where their timetable to reach their max potential is not the same timetable that the team is on. I guarantee you that Lonzo Ball, when he was going into the draft, was not thinking, damn, LeBron's going to be my teammate next year. We're going to have to compete for the playoffs and have to contend against the Golden State Warriors. I can guarantee you he was not thinking that. Even Kyle Kuzma, and even if you want to throw Brandon Ingram in there when he was drafted, it sucks what a lot of these young players got to go through, especially when you consider the expectations that a lot of these people put on these young players, such as Andrew Wiggins to become the next LeBron or Kobe or T-Mac, or for Brandon Ingram to become the next Kevin Durant, or for Lonzo Ball to become the next Jason Kidd. And if we're being honest, it's really not fair to their development, but that's how the NBA works. Some people are given a fair hand, some people are given a fair shake, and some people are not. When you look at players like Jason Tatum and Donovan Mitchell, they adapted. And they were not only able to play very well, but they came in and they contributed. In Donovan Mitchell's case, was able to be the #1 option and lead a team to the playoffs. And in Jason Tatum's case, dominated the Eastern Conference playoffs, and they showed flashes that they were able to contribute to a playoff team. But in Markelle Fultz's case, obviously with the combination of injuries, we really don't know what's wrong with him. And his shot, man, it looks awful. I mean, have you seen that free throw attempt? Like I said earlier in the video, I don't know if he was overthinking it or his shoulder was in pain or whatever, but Markelle Fultz, that free throw, man, you've got to fix it. You got to fix that jump shot. But I definitely think going forward, it's a nice start for him. It's a fresh thing. The expectations are lowered. It's the Orlando Magic. They really don't have any type of long-term plans at the point guard position. And if they give Markelle Fultz some time, accept the player option, or should I say, the team option in the last year, see what he can develop into, let him actually heal up. Unlike the Sixers, I think they should probably just shut him down for the rest of the year. Don't even consider playing him. And I definitely think that he could be a nice addition for the Orlando Magic if he even pans out to just 3/4 of the potential he had going into the draft. So is Markelle Fultz done with the NBA? No, I'm not going to say that right now. but I definitely think with the way things are shaking up, and if he can't fix the problems that he had in Philadelphia and Orlando, this is going to be his last shot. Because honestly, when you look at the package that the Sixers even got for him, that's more than I even thought they were going to get for him. I thought no one was even going to want Markelle Fultz. I thought they were just going to get a second round pick. But to add Jonathan Simmons involved and even another pick, I definitely think the Sixers, they won in that, because the Sixers, they didn't need Markelle Fultz. People need to understand Markelle Fultz is on a different timeline than the Sixers. The Sixers are trying to contend and get to the NBA Finals right now. Markelle Fultz is just trying to stay healthy and trying to develop into a player right now. That's all he needs to do. And because the Orlando Magic, they're not contending anytime soon, and even if they do make the playoffs or somehow find a way to make the playoffs this season, let's be real, Vucevic is going to be leaving in free agency, and that leaves them with the young core of Aaron Gordon and Mo Bamba. And I definitely think if Markelle Fultz can pan out to just some of that potential that he had going into the draft, that could be a solid young core of Fultz, Gordon, and Mo Bamba. And considering that they're probably going to get a top 15 pick in next year's draft, that'll be a really solid addition as well. So I definitely think Markelle Fultz, he's not done in the NBA, but he's got to figure it out sooner rather than later. And when I say sooner, I'm not saying in the next year. He's got to figure it out to just become a decent NBA player, and hopefully he can do so with this organization, because they need it at that point guard position. So you guys in the comment section, let me know what y'all think about Markelle Fultz. Also, you guys, if you are not subscribed, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button down below. Hit the bell to be notified after each and every video. Also, drop a like. And if you guys are not subscribed to my second channel, subscribe to it, and also follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Those links will be down below in the description box. Hope you guys have a great day. I'm out. Peace.